Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Basics of Biomechanics. I'm here again with a new topic, types of joints. So let's have a look.
Our body consists of multiple joints and every joint has a unique feature. So let's study about them in detail. First of all, let us see what is a joint. So it is the junction or a pivot between two or more bones. Joints are classified into two parts. First one is synarthrosis and the second one is the synovial joints. Synarthrosis is further divided into two parts, fibrous joints and cartilaginous joints, and synovial joints are further divided into 6 parts. Let's see what is synarthrosis. So in these joints, material is used to connect bony components that can be fibrous or that can be cartilaginous. That is how name has been given to them. Fibrous joints are further classified into 3 joints, that is suture joint, gomphosis and syndesmosis. And cartilaginous joints, they are further classified into symphysis and synchondrosis. Have a look what are suture joints. In these joints, two bony components, they are united by collagenous sutural ligament or a membrane. Their edges are shaped so that they can interlock one another. As you can see in the diagram, there are 5 classification. One is plain suture. As you can see in this, there is a diagram which is like a plain joint. In denticulate, it is like zigzag structure. In serrate, again it is a zigzag structure. Shindylisis and squamous. So let's see the examples for the same. First one, plain synovial joint. The joint between your nasal bones, that is internasal joint, is the example for the same. Serrate suture, the joint between your parietal bones, that is interparietal joint. Squamous suture, that is a joint between temporal bone and a parietal bone. And denticulate, you can see in the diagram, it is the joint between parieto and occipital bone. And shindylisis, it is the joint between rostrum and upper border of vomer. In gomphosis, bony structures are connected to each other like a peg in a hole. As you can see in the diagram, the example for the same is tooth in the socket. Another classification is syndesmosis, in which your bony components, they are joined directly by interosseous ligament, fibrous cord and eponeurotic membrane. It allows very small amount of motion, and examples for the same are distal tibiofibular joint and radioulnar joint. Symphysis joint, this is one of the classification of cartilaginous joint, in which two bony components, they are covered with a thin lamina of hyaline cartilage and they are directly joined by a fibrocartilage disc or a pad. These joints are permanent and they persist throughout the life. They are very strong joint, that way little motion is available over there. For example, symphysis pubis, that is a very strong joint that protects the internal organs. Another example is intervertebral joint and manubrosternal joint. Another classification for the cartilaginous joints is synchondrosis, in which bony components, they are connected by hyaline cartilage. And cartilage forms bond between two ossifying centers. Joint provides growth, stability and small amount of mobility. And after growth, they will ossify to convert into a bony union. The examples for the same. It exists between the epiphysis and diaphysis of the long bone where growth is taking place. It exists between the costochondral joint between rib and costal cartilage and first chondrosternal joint. Very important joints in our body are synovial joints. In these, ends of bony components, they are free to move in relation to one another because no connective tissue directly connects adjacent bony surfaces. It has few features, that is, it has a joint capsule, it has a joint cavity, it has a synovial tissue and a synovial fluid, and one is hyaline cartilage. Very important to understand the properties of synovial fluid because they allow lubrication, hence they reduce the friction. They give nourishment to the hyaline cartilage and they will resist the load that produces the shear on the bones. Hence, they will prevent the degeneration. Synovial joints, they are further classified into three parts. One is uniaxial joint, second is biaxial, and the third one is triaxial. Uniaxial means the joint allows movement in one plane. Biaxial, name itself is suggesting it is allowing the movement in two planes, and triaxials, it is allowing the movements in three planes. Uniaxial is further classified into two parts, that is a hinge joint and a pivot joint. Biaxial is classified into condyloid and saddle. Triaxial is going into plain synovial joint and ball and socket joint. See what is a hinge joint. A hinge joint, it is analogous to hinge of a door. As you can see in the diagram, it is formed by a central pin which is surrounded by a large hollow cylinder. The angular rotation at the hinge joint occurs primarily in a plane located perpendicular to the hinge. That means it will allow two movements, that is flexion and extension. Examples for the hinge joints are, that is humero-ulnar joint. As you know, elbow joint allows two movement, that is flexion and extension. So it comes in this category, and moreover it has a rolling pin-like structure and a cylinder around it. And the another example is interphalangeal joint. Pivot joint, one component is shaped like a ring and another one is shaped so that it can rotate within a ring, and it is analogous to a doorknob, and the primary motion is spinning. Let's see the examples. As you can see in your neck joint, there is a rotation which is happening at your atlantoaxial joint, so it comes in the category of pivot joint. And another one is proximal radio-ulnar joint, which again allows a rotation and a spinning movement. As we already discussed about biaxial joint, they are free to move in two plane and two axis, and the classification for the same is condyloid joint, in which one surface is concave and another one is convex. So the primary motion which is available, it may be either flexion extension with abduction and adduction, or maybe flexion extension with internal or external rotation. Example for the same is metacarpophalangeal joint. You can see in the diagram that metacarpal surface is convex and phalangeal surface is concave. Another classification of biaxial joint is saddle joint, in which each joint surface is both convex in one plane and concave in another plane. Biplanar motion is allowed over there. Spin between bones is possible but may be limited by interlocking nature of a joint. Example for the same is sternoclavicular joint and carpometacarpal joint. If you see in the example of sternoclavicular joint, whenever elevation is happening at the clavicular end, then clavicular end is behaving as a convex surface. And whenever there is a protraction and retraction, then clavicular end will behave like a concave surface. Go ahead with triaxial joints, which are divided into two parts, plain synovial and ball and socket. Plain synovial, they are the joints, they have a variety of configuration and they permit gliding between two or more bones. And the typical motion which is available, that is sliding, or maybe combined sliding and rotation in a plain axial joint. Example for the same is intercarpal joint. The important joint in a body, that is a ball and socket joint. It is formed by a ball-like convex surface being fitted in a concave socket. So it allows movements in three planes, that can be flexion extension, abduction adduction, or can be internal or external rotation. As you can see, the examples are shoulder joint and hip joint. In shoulder joint, the humeral head is convex surface and glenoid fossa is behaving as a concave surface, so it is like a ball in a socket. To conclude in the last, joints are classified into two groups, synarthrosis and diarthrosis. Synarthrosis is further classified into fibrous and cartilaginous. Fibrous includes sutures, gomphoses and syndesmosis. Cartilaginous includes symphysis and synchondrosis. Now, on the other hand, synovial joints, they are classified broadly into three categories, uniaxial, biaxial and triaxial. Uniaxial has hinge joint and pivot joint. Biaxial further classified into condyloid and saddle, and triaxial is further classified into plain synovial joint and ball and socket joint. I hope the lecture was useful for you. If you have any queries, you can put in the comment section. Do like, share and subscribe if you like it. Thank you so much. We'll meet you soon with a new topic.